Welcome to the Monday, June 24th, 2024 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kurt Crespin. You know, over the last week, a lot of the members of the City of Lamar Council, as well as staff, attended the Colorado Municipal League's annual conference. And it was a great conference where we had the opportunity to meet with many other cities and communities, council members, staff members throughout the state. I know for me at the Mayor's Mingle, we had in-depth discussions about different challenges that other mayors are dealing with as far as whether it was infrastructure or public safety or growth. So it was a very great opportunity. We're happy to bring back some of that information and some of that knowledge. I'm sure some of the council members will talk about it, but for the most part, it was very enlightening. And it's always great to do that. So thank you for the big staff for going. We had a very good representation at the conference compared to a lot of the other communities. So it was great to see that participation. Well, moving on, we will start off the meeting with our invitation. We have Deborah Temez here tonight to do the invocation.
Thank you. I just first wanted to thank each of the council members and the city staff for all you do to serve our community. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this beautiful city that we live in, this place that we call home. And Father, I pray over the council and their meetings, and as they make decisions, Lord, that you would give them, impart wisdom, discernment, and counsel over them. Lord, that we would seek you and your direction in all that we do. And Father, we pray for your blessings, your justice, and your favor over our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Councilman Temez, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:01 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Shayla Motta.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins.
Here.
Kurt Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Brent Bates.
Here.
Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here. Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to review the agenda?
Yes.
Yep.
I did have one late entry. We had a request from the Pride Fest committee that wanted to see if they could utilize the Enchanted Forest once again for their event. And in doing so, they would just want to block off some of that area, not the streets, just in the Enchanted Forest area for to keep their event contained. So I will request to add that onto item number 12 and move miscellaneous to 13 and executive session to 14. So that would be my request. Is
Sounds good.
that a motion?
Yes, motion.
Second.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda with the additional item. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Shayla.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. So moving on, we have our consent agenda. I did not see any items that needed to be separated or voted on individually. Did anybody else?
No.
I didn't see any.
Okay, did we have any changes? Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right. Next item is the public comment section. This is the audience participation portion of the meeting, and during this portion, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and it's the discretion of the council to provide them with more if they so choose. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council on an item? Seeing none, we will move on with our agenda. Item number 1, which is the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a short report tonight. I just wanted to remind everybody that Mayor Crespin and Rob are going to Montrose on our behalf to attend the hearing for our grant for the design phase of the wastewater treatment plant through DOLA. So I'm excited for them to be able to do that, and hopefully that our grant gets approved after that. So thank you for doing that. And then I wanted to report to council that the city has received a trust donation from the Stanley Trust Fund. They have donated $5,500 that we're working on a program for the animal shelter for free adoptions and adoption kits. So we're putting that together and going to let I think Rob's going to let the new chief roll that out. So we're excited about that. And then there's an additional $12,000 that we're going to use for the dog park. So in addition to the funding that we've already received. So Anthony is coming up with a plan right now, and we'll submit it to Don Stearman and Lance and for their approval. And if it's approved, then we're going to move forward with additional improvements for our dog park that we're getting ready to build. So I thought that was exciting news, and we were excited about it. So that was all I had this evening, unless you guys have questions for me.
Anybody have questions for Kristen?
There's not.
No.
All right, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the city clerk's report. Linda?
So I don't per se have a report tonight, however, I want to thank council for allowing us to attend CML. First year that I have ever attended, was pleasantly surprised. There was a lot of wonderful conference that they gave, and walked away with some new knowledge. So thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, next item is the city administrator's report.
Yes, sir. So again, to reiterate, CML conference, we actually made some good progress, and I know that there was some specific EPA information that helped out a lot. Some of our activities we'll be having soon, so I wanted to say thank you for that as well. My next coffee with Rob won't happen till next month now, because we'll be gone next week as well. That'll happen at 7 a.m. at Daylight Donuts, the third Wednesday. So, city offices will be closed on July 4th, but they come back to work on July 5th, so we're off on Thursday and come back on Friday. Projects, I lift my sign. I wanted to make mention that, can I go get my sign? Or you want to get it for me? Okay.
Yeah, Marie's gonna go get it?
Yeah. I have, it's with community development, but I wanted to make sort of a public service announcement and ask for some cooperation that's going on. I hope that door's still open. So it's a polite request, and I think that it's just something that people overlook sometimes.
Okay, she's bringing it.
Okay. So this was in one of our flower pots, and so you guys can see it. It's, I'm not doxing anybody, I'm not saying the address on there, but I wanted to remind people that you're allowed to put signs up in your own yard, and you can put signs up in other yards if you get permission, but you can't do it on city or state property. So please do not do that. And we have somebody who likes to go by and get these things, and we're trying to take care of this, and I'm just asking for some cooperation here, because sometimes they're there for weeks and weeks, and we don't, we're trying to beautify the city. So please don't put these signs up on any of our property.
And I would think code enforcement could find those locations pretty easily if they have the address on.
That's correct.
I think it's important to remember that you have your address on it if you put it in the wrong spot.
That's right. So going on to the library, storyteller Beth is supposed to be here at the library tomorrow at 2 p.m. She's going to tell some stories. This is a summertime reading program. Water Fun Day at Centennial Park is on the 28th at 10 a.m. So kids get to go out there. and I made sure that they had it not in a restricted time, so they're gonna go out there and be able to get wet and it's so hot out there so we're giving them a chance to go out there and play a little bit. Let's see, Public Works. Related to our signs here, we've had a lot of cleanups done by Public Works because of issues, weeds or cleanup of yards and things like that. So our Public Works have had a lot of an increased amount of work to do, and that's sort of drawing on the other things that they're supposed to be doing, fixing streets and working on water. So please help us on mowing your yards and stay away from the code guys. All right, Parks and Rec. We talked about the Stanley Trust donation for the dog park. That's going to be great. They're going to, that's going to be an overall a much bigger project now, almost double the size. If anybody noticed, the Riverside Cemetery has been recently upgraded. Lots of last year we did a good job, and this year we doubled the amount we added to it. A lot of new paving out there, and it looks really smart. So go out and take a look, and it's really respectful for those people out there. IT, the camera project, that was something that was authorized quite a way back, and we've done it in-house. They just finished the fire department. They're headed out to the airport next, so that's a big project ongoing. They're migrating their to a new email server, and they're coordinating an e-cycle. This is not one of those bikes that's electrically powered. This is recycling for electronics equipment and things like that. So, fire department, the fireworks are delivered and it's being stored, and we'll be having some more information and public service awareness announcements out here soon. But bottom line is we're still planning on, and we have all the fireworks here. So,
Wonderful.
all right. Well, that's the projects. Miscellaneous, do you guys have any questions or anything we'd like me to look into as far as recent events that maybe not being able to bring to me?
Anybody?
You knew I would.
Yeah.
They all had approved, that sign that's over on Oak, and they were gonna order another one to put at this end of town once all the construction finished. Do you know if it's...
Kyle did anything before he left? I don't know.
I know he said he was gonna order them, so I don't know if he ordered the two or just the one.
I can check into that and see
Okay.
what he ordered, and then I'll get the information
Okay.
to Rob, and then he can go from there. How does that sound?
Thank you.
I have a question for Rob. I'm
Yep.
not looking for an answer tonight, but maybe next meeting. you can
Okay.
give something forth. Well, where are we at with our consultant with that tribe?
I will get you an update at the next meeting. I have information on it. It's just okay.
Thank you.
Well, the tribal consultant. Okay. Anything else?
Just as I don't know if you've looked into this, but the swim area at the ponds, it's a pretty small area. I'd love to see that expanded some. It's just one of those things to where, as it is, I know that there are people jumping in at other places, and if there's a way, we just need to make some more room available for other swimming.
So just about everything comes down to money, and it's sand and being able to, so yes, we can do it. And I can get some estimates on how much it would cost to expand it, but with the level of that makes it difficult. Maybe we can figure out some other way. I'll get on that one.
Okay. With no other items for the city administrator, we'll move on to reports and correspondence from the council. I'll start over here with Joe. Do you have any reports or correspondence?
Just a small one from the golf board. They had their Wiley Open here just not too long ago, which was this weekend, and it was a good success. It was full, sold out, and a lot of folks out there playing in the heat. Just like their last other two tournaments, in June, they were all sold out. And Bob had mentioned to me here in July for their 4th of July tournament, it's already 3/4 full. So if there's folks out there that want to join the 4th of July tournament, it's going to be happening July 6th. Will be taking place, not July 4th, but July 6th. And lunch will be provided. There are 12 golf carts out there that belong to the golf course for rent, ready to rent for those folks. and it's still open to the public. He hasn't had very much business after with the heat. He says not very many folks are playing around at 103. But they did happen to come up with some money to pour some concrete between T-Box 6 and the women's T-Box on T-Box 6. So that way they pulled up a lot of grass there and they're transplanting that grass to fill in some ugly looking holes around some areas there. But it looks really nice to where now you're not driving on the grass, but you're driving down, on concrete down to the ladies' T-Box. And they're cutting bushes out there and trimming trees. And they've got more plans that they would like to do, and they're looking for a way to dredge out over by T-Box number 5. They say every time it floods, it brings in a lot of debris, a lot of problems, a lot of sand, a lot of dirt. And the last time they've had it dredged out, it wasn't big enough and long enough to dig out was sufficient, what they needed to be sufficient for T-Box 5. So they're on the lookout and they're looking for help for T-Box 5 to get it dredged. And that's about it for the golf board.
Okay. Sheila, not yet. Or do you have anything that you want to share?
I had a great opportunity going to the CML conference, and I'm excited about some of the information and ideas I was able to gather there.
Okay, Jerry?
We met with the Public Safety Board, and I don't know if you just want Dawn to give a quick
No.
theme of it or just let me do it. We did get applications and we picked the ones we're going to, Rob and then we'll talk about it. We're just waiting for our bylaws from Lance. And other than that, we should, and remind people we meet the third Thursday at 4 o'clock here in the library.
Okay. Anything else?
And again, like she said, I went to the CML conference and it was very informational, especially with trailer parks and stuff like that. We got a lot of good information.
Great. David?
Well, not right at the moment, but they're talking about the CML. It was a lot of information to take in for the first year going. What an experience it was, and actually taking a couple extra, meetings to sit in and, just to try to sink in on how it works. But it was a really good experience, and I'd like to thank all you guys for, bringing it up and having a chance to go and see what it's all about. Thank you.
Great. Manuel?
Just with the CML, one of my better meetings, they had roundtables and meeting with, other cities and being able to have open discussions. Very, very good time well spent, getting information and just sharing, being able to share in those settings, and so I really had a good time. Other than that, with the water board, one, be mindful of the watering times. We are under the water restrictions, and that's really just with the times. It's not set days, but it is times of the day, and so please be mindful for that. The other is that our wells are doing well in comparison to the previous year. A lot of our wells are up, and so that's good news for the city. Of course, as we get into the hotter parts of the summer, all of that will change, but we are sitting in a good position in comparison to last year. And then the last thing is that there will be an opening coming up for the water board, so they'll be looking for that in the future, in the near future. And that's all I have.
Pat met last Monday before we went to CML, and you'll have to correct me on this. Cheryl Sanchez went to the GEAR conference. I think it was GEAR. Up in the Front Range, really focused on small manufacturing, which is going to be a target for Pat moving forward. She brought a lot of good ideas for different industries from that. Also, just want to say they awarded a lot of incentives over the last few months, and some of the board of directors were able to go to AM Breakfast House the weekend before to check it out. So I encourage the community to go check out Andrew and Melissa Fallon's new breakfast restaurant, AM Breakfast, right across the street, Cattywampus Big White Building, or Big White House, I guess. LPI met today. We are going to be moving forward with using some of our general fund to help split some of the landscaping maintenance costs at the Pocket Park. And then we'll be opening discussions about helping with that as well, a little bit more moving forward. We got our annual work plan finished from our strategic planning we did with DOLA, and that Pocket Park stuff ties into one of our bullet points in the annual work plan. The Corporate Cup is coming up on July 24th through 27th. It has filled up. Martha was going to double check on that, but at first we thought there were 10 teams at the beginning of the meeting. Then we kind of realized it was 11, and potentially we've maxed out at 12. We are still looking for some sponsorships from businesses, and so if you are looking to be a sponsor for the Corporate Cup, we call it the biggest office party in Lamar. It's been a big hit for 3 years now. Please reach out to Martha Barrett Alvarez, the Main Street Manager and events planner for the city. I also wanted to touch on CML. It was my first go at it. It was really informative. I was talking with David a bit. It's a lot of information in a little bit of time, so took a lot of notes. We'll be going back over those. Two things that really stuck out was one that I attended with Manuel, the affordable housing consensus on affordable housing was some pros and cons. I think we all know in this day and age, affordable housing is now being earmarked as attainable housing, which is also still very difficult for service industry workers and minimum wage workers to come by. But there were some good points in there that I think we can discuss as a council about moving forward. Also had a great conversation with Kirk about it and Anne Marie Thursday night. The other one was what's new at DOLA. For those who don't know, DOLA is the Department of Local Affairs. They offer a lot of grant funding for a multitude of different things throughout the municipalities in the state. They have increased some of their program funding for this year. Can't give you the specific numbers, but increases are good. They are also aiming to bring down some of the timeframes it takes to get those grants done from, I think it was 280 days down to 90-day turnaround from their side. And to do that, they are hiring 50 more DOLA employees by the end of this month. So those were two big ones I took from that. And again, thank you for the opportunity to go. I had a really great time.
Great. Okay, as for me, of course, at the DOLA or at the CML conference, there was quite a bit, whether it was learning about the new grants and programs that are out there for infrastructure for communities or for growth opportunities, or even a discussion on AI in the workplace. So a lot of information that we brought back and we'll continue to work on. I'm sure it'll go well. With that said, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is new business. So the first off, we have a public hearing for the Royal on 7th Subdivision Final Plat. This is a public hearing. It was initiated by Stephanie Strube. If we can have a motion to move into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to move into the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, so we'll start off with proof of publication and making sure that everything was researched and taken care of for the due diligence portion.
Stephanie took care of it.
Stephanie?
Yes, it was posted in the paper. It ran on May 30th and June 13th. Also, Scott Mann had reached out to all of the mineral estate owners, have been notified per Colorado section 24-65.5-103.1. And so I think we're good to move forward. Planning and zoning would like to recommend approval of the final plan for the Royal on the 7th to council or as they see fit.
Okay.
And I believe that Mr. Scott can come in and
Okay.
ask questions.
Great. So usually we'll give an opportunity for the applicant to come up and tell us a little bit about the project or your application. Did you want to speak on it or not?
I'll be happy to answer, or will be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Okay.
It's a pretty simple 12-lot subdivision.
Okay.
And Water Circle Drive in the middle of the project. We have 4 lots adjacent to the golf course. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Am I better now? We have 4 lots adjacent to the golf course. We have 4 lots in the center section of the property, and And I think it's all set to go. We just have to build it at this point.
Okay. All right, council, did you have any questions for the applicant?
What's your ETA on completion of, I'm assuming you're probably staging them? Trying to get a few done, sell them off, get a few done?
At this point, and I think, John, you'd be a better person, I think the whole idea is to build what we've got as far as the infrastructure and all the horizontal work, the asphalt, curb and gutter, all the grading, and sell lots at that point in time.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
All right, so at this point, I generally will open it up for anybody that would like to speak against this subdivision. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak against this? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of, other than the applicant itself? All right, since there's no other items, I will ask the council or the board to give us the authorization to exit out of the meeting.
Make a motion to exit out.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to exit out of the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Now we need to make a decision on the council decision for the public hearing now that we've had that. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the final plat for the Royal on 7th subdivision and allow the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the plot as submitted and allow the mayor to sign. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, and we wish you luck on the project.
Good job,
Hope it goes
Stephanie.
through
Thank you,
well.
guys.
And thanks for investing in Lamar, that's for sure.
That's right.
All right, moving on, we have a public hearing for special event permit for the Sand and Sage Roundup to host a beer garden during the Sand and Sage Fair. So we would need to move into public hearing for this motion as well.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
We will move into the public hearing. First off, we want to discuss actually make sure that everything was publicized and taken care of as needed.
Yes, so on July 10th, I requested that a public hearing be set for July 24th. It was posted on-site and in Lamar Ledger on June the 13th.
Okay. And did the police officer or the police chief interim have an opportunity to review this application?
Yes.
Did you see any problems on that?
No, sir.
And as the supervisor, I overlooked it to make sure that it was okay and didn't have any problems and recommend approval.
Okay. All right. As for questions, before we bring up the group, did we have any problems last year or in the past years on the police side?
We did not.
Okay.
And you had called earlier about the diagram?
Mhm.
So they've had the same diagram since at least 2021.
Okay, so it's the same setup since 2021. All right. So at this time, I'll ask the applicants if you'd like to come up and speak on your application and just give us a brief run through on what you're looking at. Did you say no?
What would you like to know?
So standard as usual.
Yeah, the
changes
beer garden will be open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which is the 8th, 9th, and 10th, from 5 p.m. to midnight. Half of our board is tip certified, so there will be someone in the beer garden at all times that is tip certified. We haven't had any problems in the past. That diagram has been the same since the day we started. The only thing that we ever did is we added snow fence to the outside. That was the one addition, and I don't know how to draw snow fence for you. So, and that was just to keep from cups being handed through the gate, and that alleviated that problem. So that would be the only change. But there is no fence around there. It has been for several years.
And do you have security
Yes.
enabled for that area?
No, Ferris County Sheriff's Department will be there.
Okay. All right, any questions from the council before we move forward?
I don't have any.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so at this time, I would like to ask if there's anyone that would like to speak against this application. We do have somebody.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. If you could state your name and address for the record, since this is a public hearing.
Okay, I'm Galen Brandt, 800 South 6th Street, Lamar, Colorado. And I can say that as of a couple days ago this week, I have now been a resident of Lamar for 42 years.
No.
I thought I'd never come here. I've been here for 42 and it's my home now. I'd like to talk about alcohol deaths. I thank the lady for coming and making the presentation. One concern I had is that she said half of the board or half of the people were tip certified. Why are not the other half? And are they going to be, the other non-half who is not tip certified, are they going to be serving alcohol? I have a concern about that. But what I came to present to you is the knowledge that Colorado alcohol deaths surged 60% in the last 4 years. 60%. That is a huge increase. The information I got is out of the Denver Post this year. Alcohol deaths in Colorado spiked during the pandemic. The horrible pandemic caused a lot of problems for all of us. The state ranks as one of the worst for deaths due to drinking. The Denver Post did a series of articles and investigations and writings this year as they talked about it. Since we know that deaths spiked during the pandemic, we know that a lot of people are dying from that. Deaths from alcohol in Colorado shot up, as I said, more than 60% between 2018 and 2021. It fell slightly in 2022, but yet it was up 50% from what it was in 2018. A lot of people thought that after COVID was brought down and reduced, that facilities would still be, that facilities would go down also. That didn't happen. It's continuing to grow. Alcohol killed about 3,000 people statewide in 2022. Many people died from the effects of alcohol at one of the highest rates in the country. Jared Polis, our governor, says he considers drinking a matter of personal responsibility. Unfortunately, not everybody is responsible. Mark Snyder, a Democrat from Colorado Springs and head of the chair of the House committee that oversees the state's alcohol program regulations, said he found it shocking, and he says we kind of forget about alcohol.
That's the 3-minute mark, if you can.
Okay, I'll try to cut it down. The CDC, which we're all familiar with, we've heard about them a lot, contributes, that alcohol contributes to 8% in car crashes. But that the majority of the CDC says that the problem is with the liver disease, cardiovascular problems, and suicide. A lot of times, people drinking, you don't see it instantly. It's not happening as fast as we find some other kinds of drug. We find though the people that start drinking in their teen years, they on an average die in their 50s instead of their 80s. A lot of times, we find that people think that they can just get away with it. Somebody thinks they can drink a six-pack of beer on a Saturday night, and they won't seem unsafe, they won't be having problems with that, but it does lead to alcohol problems, premature deaths, and accidents.
You're now over by another minute, so. All right, thank you very much. All right. So with that said, do we have anybody that would be in favor of this, other than the applicant, that would like to speak? At this time, does the applicant want to speak on any of the items that were brought up here?
On the tip certification, just so everybody knows, the gentleman that used to do the tip certification classes no longer resides in Lamar, Colorado. So the only choice we have is to get online and do it on, I think it's gettips.com. So it is going to be a little bit more difficult to get that done. But we do make sure our board, is tip certified. And we have volunteers that are also tip certified at work, so.
So the question was posed, will there be anyone that is not tip certified that'll be serving alcohol? No?
I just want to make a point to that. Colorado does not require tip
That's right, you
certification.
don't have to be tip certified.
A majority of bars and restaurants do hold certain requirements, but that's all in-house with their company. There's also another program for concession certification through tips that you could look at that kind of focuses specifically on public and private events. Just for your knowledge, general rule of thumb is to have one person in the service area at all times that is tip certified.
There is.
But there's not any Colorado law that requires tip certification.
That's good to know, because when Stephen left Lamar, we were all like, oh my, what are we gonna do now? And then, like I said, you can do it online, and we have had some members do it online. But again, you do not have to be tip certified to serve alcohol.
Well, I think over the last 5 years, it's been a request of the council to
Yes.
make sure that the people that are serving alcohol are tip certified, just to ensure that we're doing everything that we can to prevent those things. So, is that correct?
I believe so, Kurt.
That's been my understanding,
And I've
is that
given
we've
that list to
encouraged that.
Colleen
Okay.
at the police department. She has a list of all the people that are tip certified.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that said, and nobody else wanting to speak in favor or against, I would just need to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Brent? Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Well, council, what would you like to do? I'll entertain a motion concerning the public hearing.
I move to approve the special event permit for Sand and Sage Roundup.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the special event permit for the Sand and Sage Roundup. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. All right, so we have those two public hearings taken care of. Now we'll move on to a request that we had from the school district. This was from Lamar School District. Of course, everybody's had an opportunity to review the letter of request. This was initiated by Rob Evans, the administrator. Would you like to speak on this, Rob?
Yes, sir, I would. Once the city became more involved in the planning for Thunder Stadium, it's being put out there, there were some things that were brought up where the city might be able to partner with them, might be able to help them with some cost savings in some areas if they would help us, because they put it right next to our 14th Street, and we hadn't ever planned on having that much traffic, that kind of thing. So we knew we were going to have some upgrades, we're going to have repair, and there's going to be costs associated with that. So the suggestion was made that we might be able to save them some money in working on their parking lot if they would then in turn help us with the improvements on 14th the next year, because they were trying to work on their budget and get it in there. Well, we had several staff meetings on how we could get this accomplished. We started working on an IGA. The number that came out on planning for, normal procedures for cost on labor to do the parking lot they want, not counting materials, is $103,000. And, they said that's too much. That would put them over their bid that they wanted originally to do it without anybody's help, and, we weren't involved in the process. And so we came up with being able to figure out we might only need X amount of thousands of dollars the next year. We were going to split some differences and come up with, we might be able to save money because we don't charge as much as commercial ones. So we floated the idea, is there some number in between up to $50,000 to, would you consider us proposing to you guys? We weren't promising anything, proposing to you guys to donate some money to them. They went back to their board and said, no, we want to ask for the entire amount to be donated by the city. And I said, well, I can bring your request to the council, but I'm not authorized to even speak on intentions or abilities or anything like that, because there's no way that this came up after our budget was for this year, so I didn't have any budgeted money for this at all. So I said, I will bring your request up there, and the superintendent passed on a letter. He's not able to be here today. He passed on a letter asking for basically a donated in-kind contribution of what it would cost us to do it for him, is $103,000.
Well, I know I haven't, this was probably, when this came back to us last meeting, was kind of the first time we've had an opportunity to review the IGA, but they had pulled that back, so we didn't have a chance to really go into depth on it. I think the challenge is that this has happened so fast that we don't have it budgeted, we don't have scheduled, we don't, it's kind of like pretty rushed onto the city. And that's where my concern is. I know they are working on this big project. I know they've had multiple fundraising opportunities and auctions and stuff, but when we have our own Escondido Park that's not paved, we were trying to get the paving done at the community building on the overflow parking lot. With this new project, we're going to have a new 14th Street development that we're going to have to face with curb and gutter and fixing the 14th Street because of the increased traffic. That's going to be a challenge. And that's not even including, the other parking lots and the driveways that the city is working on. We have quite a bit of things this year. And my understanding is we've always rented a
Milling
machine in August. And August is the time of year when we do paving, but that's already too late for them, or almost too late for them in August. But I think the big challenge is our manpower is so thin right now.
We're down seasonal and irregular, so yeah.
So it's very hard to really consider doing the project, an additional project, but then to do it, as a donation, that makes it even more of a challenge when we have our own projects that we need to get done as far as parking lots. And I think the other part that the council really needs to keep in mind too is it's very difficult when we go to do one of these things and it's a project for somebody else, because then we start getting phone calls from All Right Paving or Black is Beautiful saying, you took business away from us. The city's competing against us because you're doing paving. Even though our intent is good, we also take away business from some of the local businesses as well. So my suggestion is we kindly let them know we really can't do that for free. I wish there was some other way we could assist in their project. I want it to be successful, but maybe we look at permits or something else. But I think doing a whole parking lot is going to be very difficult to ask. What do you guys think?
I think we should definitely enter into further talks with them. I don't think we can just say, yeah, here's the end of it. I think making room for further discussion is probably the best thing, and giving all of the reasons that you shared, making those considerations. I think that, really we don't have room for a decision without having further discussion with them.
So I guess some information on that point right there is, they basically said, the company that was gonna do it at their bid price, they need to know now. This is basically their last day. If we can't help them, they're gonna go back to them and see if they said that they've been assured that they can get it at their other bid price that they had said. I think was it $2,800 or something like that for permits as well that they had asked for? Or I don't have that number in front of us, but
Well,
reducing permit fee.
yeah, the permit fees were quite high. When I talked to Pat, what he said is, here's what we can waive comfortably without costing public works. So I think it was about 4,000.
4,000, okay. So that,
maybe we, since they need an answer, maybe we just decline on the donated parking lot, but then approve the negotiated permit fees to help save them some money.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, with that time constraint, I feel like it also sets a precedent where we do in-kind work to an extent, but to just go all out and donate an entire parking lot, materials and manpower would, in my opinion, set a precedent that, yes, it's in good faith, we all want to see the project get done, but with all those factors involved, it doesn't seem like something we should move forward with.
I agree too.
Joe?
I'm fine, based on what was said tonight.
Shayla?
I agree.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Do we need?
Do we need a motion, or do we just give them direction? Well, they were asking for an answer on the in-kind assistance. So my suggestion would be a motion of declining the in-kind assistance on the parking lot, but offering or allowing Rob to negotiate assistance in building permit fees as applicable. Does that sound like a decent?
I move to do that.
And I'll second to do that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. And you'll take care of
I'll
that?
take care of that.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is letter of support for Prowers County CDPHE 1306 grant application for 207 East Elm Street, 210 South 3rd Street, which is the American Legion property. This is a project with the county. I know they've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and it's a building that's just been vacant for so long that they'd like to repurpose it.
Yes, so Powers County Administrator Mark Westhoff requested a letter of support from the city to accompany their CDPHE 1306 grant application for cleanup of the buildings formerly known as the American Legion buildings. Not only would asbestos abatement remove a health hazard, but it would also set Powers County's redevelopment plan for the property in motion. They intend to relocate the county's administrative functions, so the administrator, HR, finance, all of those functions, plus the commissioner's offices, which they've never had, and a board member, so they can actually have meetings in a ADA compliant space. That will also allow Powers County to follow what the state is asking for election space in the courthouse. What we're excited about, besides another building that gets redeveloped, is that we've been able to serve them with our EPA brownfield assessment grant. So it has redesigned, it has created some initial design plans, which I included in the package for you. So that's when somebody asks for help in redesigning a building that's enlisted in our assessment grant. That's the kind of resources that they get, including potential sources for doing redevelopment work. And those that our revenue authority is listed as a potential funder for that, since it is something that we're able to. So I'm just asking that you approve the letter of support and authorize
We wanted to make sure to bring it to the council for council approval, because I think it gives a little bit more strength in our support when the council completely endorses it as well. So I think that's why we're bringing this in to make sure we do this. So, council, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve signing the support letter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support and authorize the mayor to sign. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the second was correct?
Correct.
All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you. Next item, approval of intergovernmental agreement with Lamar Community College for facility use. This was brought in by Kristen and Anthony Latour. Kristen, would you like to speak on it?
Yes, this is what was in the packet last meeting, and we tabled it. I'm going to let Lance speak on this. He worked on it while we were at CML with the college, getting the details hashed out. So I'll let him tell you what changes were made from the last version you saw at the last meeting.
So I've talked to the representative for LCC last week. They actually this afternoon sent me their signed version of this copy, so I do have that. I'll send that to Linda. There was some questions that have been proposed, some changes that were made. We did include Escondido practice field and game field as part of this. I did add some language in there regarding Tabor, just to make clear, clarifying some of those terms as far as this multi-year contract, that it's not intended to be viewed that way, that it's a year-to-year contract, and that if in the event either party ever failed to appropriate funds, that the contract would then be terminated at that point. Largely, it's the same agreement as has been in place for several years. I spoke with Anthony about it. We also made some changes on kind of on essentially the college's obligations to keep and maintain Merchants Park. And so there was some slight changes there, but overall, essentially the same agreement. The cost did go up $3,000 on that, so. But otherwise, largely the same agreement, a few modifications based on conversations that I've had with LCC's representative, and then just kind of working through those things with Anthony on what they have been doing and continuing those same obligations.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable with it as our attorney?
I do.
Okay. Kristen, do you feel comfortable with it?
No, I was good with it, absolutely.
Council, do you have any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the IGA with LCC and allow the mayor to sign. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item is to award bid 44010 for contract for the janitorial services at the Welcome Center. Kristen?
Yes, this is our annual bid that we go out for contract services for janitorial at the Welcome Center. We solicited bids, we mailed packets out, and it was advertised in the local paper on June 6th. The deputy treasurer received those bids until 5 p.m. on June 18th, and then they held the bid opening on June 19th. The one bid that we did receive was acknowledged and accepted. Our bid was from Dan Newhold. Dan Newhold has been doing this in my records since 2011. For many years, he didn't increase the price. He did increase it $25 this year from last year's bid, which is understandable to me with the products and the time that it takes him to do that. He's done a really good job, so we're recommending that you award the bid to Dan Newhold and allow the mayor to sign the agreement and Rob. So that would be the motion I would ask for.
Okay, council?
I move to award the contract to Dan Newhold. And that was contingent on Rob and Lance
Yes,
reviewing
sir.
it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
And I might also mention on that contract is paid for by our contract with the state for the Welcome Center. It's included in that $80,000 that we get a year from them to run the Welcome Center, so it's actually not out of the city. Yes, yes, sir. I forgot to mention that.
Okay, great, thank you. Next item is appointment to the Lamar Housing Authority Board. This is one of those items or one of the boards where we are involved in as well. Colleen Messersmith's term expired on June 1st, 2024.
She's getting recommended to do another 5-year term.
Pretty brave to do another 5-year. So, this is the recommendation from the Lamar Housing Authority as well. So, council, what would you like to do?
Make a motion to appoint Colleen Messersmith to the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, we have 2 items for the Public Safety Board. The first one is for Katrina Lopez, who was recommended by the Mike Duffy, the Secretary of the Public Safety Board, as on behalf of the Public Safety Board. Do we have any questions on that? Did we go through the background checks?
We did, and they
the
all.
standard process?
They did, and we were, had no, objections to getting them on the board, so there was nothing holding them back.
Okay. All right, council?
Make a motion to appoint Katrina Lopez to the safety board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next item on the agenda is a similar one. There was 2 openings on the Public Safety Board, and the second person that has applied was Jake Vernon Harris. Jake Harris has applied for the, let's see, is it a 2-year term or a 3-year term? Four. Okay, 4-year term, and was recommended by the Public Safety Board as well.
He also passed.
All the background checks.
I hope so.
I move to approve Jake Harris for a 4-year term to the Public Safety Board.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Next one is appointment
I wanted
to
to
the
clap
Parks and
first.
Recreation.
Sorry, sir.
Oh,
I wanted to clap first. That's the first time we've ever had a full board, so.
yeah, so now we'll have a full board on the Public Safety Board. Wow, that's great. Yes, finally. I think we approved that in 2020, 2021?
I think so, yeah.
It's been a while. All right, appointments to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Anthony Latour has suggested Jake Harris as well. So he'll be serving on 2 different boards, one for the Public Safety and one for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. And I'm sure he
Civically
passed the
engaged.
background check.
Yes, he did. He passed this one as well.
Okay.
I'd like to first of all thank Jake for stepping up if you're listening. And I'd also like to move to approve his 3-year term to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
And I would like to say that as well. Jake Harris for getting on 2 boards and getting involved in our community. That's very important. You're the ones that help us make the decisions we make, so thank you. All right, liaison appointments to the boards and commissions. I had asked to have this brought back because we did have a change in the council. Mike Bellamy was replaced by Shayla Mata, and he had the Airport Advisory Board, the Community Resource Senior Center, as well as the CML Policy Committee. Was there any changes we wanted to make? Did you talk to anybody about those, or are you good with staying with them?
I can stay with those, that's fine.
You want to stay with those 3? Anybody else want to make any changes?
This is the deal or no deal, the swap time, where you
Yeah,
guys
this
get
is the time,
to
yeah.
trade your cards? Okay.
You want to swap the boards. So as a council, each council member is assigned various boards. For instance, I'm on the Lamar Utility Board as a liaison, as well as the SECED Board and the Southeast Colorado Council of Governments Board, and I represent the council that way. So every single council member, we don't just attend our council meetings, we also attend these boards and bring back the information. So it's very important. So this is your last chance. Any other horse trading? Seeing none, I would just need a motion to approve the council liaison with the change of Mike to Shayla.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. The next item
The addition.
would be the one that we added at the beginning of the meeting, which was the request, the late request by the Pride Fest to utilize the Enchanted Forest.
I'm gonna let Jameson motor up
If you
here.
Just let us know, have you researched this?
We didn't look into it. I don't foresee any complications with it, and our recommendation was to approve.
Okay. Did we have any issues last year?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
Did not.
So this is just to use the park for their event, just like we do for many other organizations. So we just wanted to bring it to the council and make sure for transparency, that we voted out.
And you will have security out there?
They do, they have hired security.
Okay.
Is there a specific time they'll be using it?
I believe the request is for approximately 11:40 to
5 o'clock.
11:40 in the morning to 5 p.m.
So it won't be overnight or nighttime at all, just the daytime.
Approximately 6 hours.
Okay. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Any final questions? All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item is miscellaneous items. Do we have a miscellaneous?
I do.
Rob does.
I'm sorry I missed the opportunity last time, but just a reminder, a while back, I arranged for Sam Light to come down to do the newly elected officers training and classes, and it's a good refresher as well. So he's coming down on July 8th. And he's going to come down and give us
Monday.
we'll come down an hour early. We might even get a pizza for him.
Okay,
Comes
so
down here.
We'll have an hour early at the next meeting, right?
Okay.
Well, we might do an hour and a half.
You know, from experience, his last several times, we've run him pretty quickly out, at the end thing, so an hour and a half would be okay, too.
Yeah, I'd rather do that, and that
Okay.
way if we have questions, I spoke with him at the CML conference as well. He's pretty excited to come back. He does a great job. Okay. Any other miscellaneous items? Seeing none, our next motion would be to enter into executive session. We have 3 executive sessions. The first one is for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving advice on specific legal questions under CRS 246402 subsection 4 subsection B regarding economic development negotiations. The second one is for discussion of personnel matters for mid-year staff review. The third one is for conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving specific legal questions under CRS 246402 subsection 4 subsection B regarding the public safety tax. So do we have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Now, we will not have any decisions coming out of the executive session, so we will immediately adjourn our meeting following the executive session. Our next meeting is on Monday, July 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m., so we hope to see you then. Thank you for joining us tonight.